Get a bike, they said. It'll be good for you, they said. I got muscles that hurt that I didn't even know I had. Anyway, welcome back. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about doing communication, and the recipient didn't know that that person was in the spirit world. So that's what we'll be covering today. So I've been asked a number of times to cover this subject, and I've put it off because it's not something I agree with in my philosophy of mediumship. However, it has come up time and time again, and so it clearly needs a video to go on to that subject matter. Now, the way I feel and the way my mediumship works is I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be passing on information about a loved one and the person didn't know that that person was in the spirit world. So it tends not to happen. It's not to say it hasn't happened. It has happened to me many years ago, but more recently hasn't happened to me. And it may be the way my mind is working or my mind is set up for public demonstrating. However, it does come up, and so we need to cover the topic: why does it happen and how does it happen? So for me, the why would be that the recipient, the client, is absolutely ready to hear it. You know, maybe it's a school friend and they haven't seen them for years, and here they are receiving a communication from someone that is in the spirit world. And in that instance, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with it, you know. You've been disconnected for a number of years, and it's unfortunate, but you find that your friend has ended up in the spirit world, and so you receive the communication, and everything can go fine, validated to a point where the client can go, well, yeah, he or she did do that, or that was them, but as far as I'm aware, they are very much alive, you know. After the reading, they make the phone call and find out that that person has, in fact, arrived in the spirit world. So why does that happen? It's going to be a tough subject. There's going to be a lot of agreement and a lot of disagreement. But in every instance, the communication that happens comes through the mind of the medium, the way the medium has looked for the information. Now, for me, I would like to think, and it's not always possible, but I would like to think the one that is most loved and most accepted of that in the spirit world. Let's say you've lost your mum. It would be nice that mum turned up pretty much for every reading that you had, because you love her, you miss her, and they know that. And, you know, simple mechanic, nice and easy, job done. However, it doesn't always work that way because of the medium that is working, the way the medium is looking for the information. And it will always be that way. It's not, you know, there is an old way of thinking, well, I'll let the spirit world decide. And it's really not like that. It's the way your mind is set up, the way your mind looks for a communicator. When the client is in the room, every single one of their people is in the room. And then it's down to the instrument in the way the instrument finds that information, and that could be a friend that you didn't know had passed, or a very distant relative that you didn't have much to do with and can't really verify everything. It's not because the spirit worlds have said, right, you're up today, away you go. It's the medium, the way the medium has found the information. So I always jest and say, look, I'm not here to put them in the spirit world today. I'm here to prove the spirit world, and I joke and I move aside. If you don't know, then let's not ponder on it. Let me go get someone else for you. And that would be my advice in most scenarios. You know, if they can't validate that the person's in the spirit world, try to be of the mindset that you don't want to be the bearer of bad news. However, you know, in some instances it's unavoidable. You've started, it's gone through, and in that case they must be comfortable with it. The client must be okay. They're not distraught with it, with the information. It's not like you have a daily engagement with your mum. You've gone for a reading, and while you've gone for a reading, mum has passed. That would unimaginable. That would be a very difficult scenario. It has happened, but we try not to be the bearer of bad news. That's how I would set up. My advice again in this scenario is, if the client is of the mind that that person is very much alive, just ask the person to go get someone else nearer the front of the queue, or you know, the one that can validate the most, and then pick your reading back up from there. So you'd be doing a multiple communication. One would enter, you can't validate or get it validated, then just ask them to go get someone that can be validated, and then the reading can progress on from there. So the way I set my mind up is always for the greater good. It's something I've always done from the start, and progress from there. And it tends to be like a very, very high percentage tends to be the one that they wanted the most. That would be one walk around, one mechanic to work with, always for the greater good. I'm not sure what greater good can be made from someone they don't know is in the spirit world. So that rarely happens in my mediumship now, and the way that my mind is set up for looking for it, as I said earlier on in the video, this would help tremendously. We also have to bear in mind that, you know, we're all still learning. We're all, you know, development is a lifelong process, and, you know, these things happen. So I wouldn't be so bad about it. And I'm sure in all the cases that I know of or have heard of, there's been no real bad outcome for it. So the client is absolutely ready for it. So don't start tinkering too much. It's usually a rare thing that happens to the viewer that asked me to do the video. But if it is gaining momentum, then it is the way that you are looking for the spirit world. You're trying to be different, maybe. You don't want to do the nanas and the mums and dads. You want something a little bit different. Then you're gonna present yourself with a problem here. You have to remember your need is nothing on the reading. You are but the instrument. You are but the voice of the spirit world. And maybe the baking nana is exactly what the client wants to hear. And that's your role. That's your role to do that. Pass on that voice. So if you are looking to be different, do it in a different area of your mediumship, and this will offer the difference for you, but still bring the communicator that is best suited for the reading. Now, obviously, there's lots of variations and lots of different ingredients that can be rolled into this video. This is kind of set on that with the example I've given because of the viewer's question. And I understand there's lots and lots of variables, and there could be lots and lots of videos on that. So I'll just keep this one kind of short, or as short as I possibly can. And then we can look at it later on in another video. So I'll wrap it up here. If you liked it, give it a like. Get in the comments, let me know if this has happened to you at all, at any point. What did you do? How did you implement change to stop that sort of thing happening? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you lot in the next video.